Hey guys, Damon here from Seriously Series. Today in the shed I thought I would start a new series where we just talk about tools, general tools and specific Land Rover tools that are really particular for Land Rovers and that I think you should really have in your arsenal of tools. These things can be made at home if you're handy with fabricating things, and also there's some inexpensive things that you can also buy from general parts dealers, Land Rover parts dealers, and just general automotive stores. So I thought I'd start off with the top three that I've been using quite regularly over the years, and we'll probably get Jeff to do the same, see what he's been using, his top three, and I think we'll just keep rolling out what we actually need for specific jobs and specialty tools, and even ways you can make and fabricate your own specialty tools for special jobs for your Land Rovers. So let's hop. So in no particular order, we'll go from left to right. So under here, we've got a rattle gun. So this is a Ryobi rattle gun. You can put all your normal sockets, 1/2 inch sockets on here. And I really like these because they are such good time savers. Really handy. You can get them you can use rattler guns that you might have, and you can get adapted bits to go to your sockets and for any size as well. But it's only cheap, but it just makes jobs so much quicker, and it really does save your wrists, your arms from that fatigue, and over longevity your body will wear out. And if you're working on Land Rovers most of your life, these things can save time. You got air tools as well. Used those in the past, but you need a compressor, the hoses, the compressors coming on and off. These nowadays, lithium ion batteries have come a long way, and they can last for ages. So really good investment. And I bought this with a couple other things, with a light and drill, and it came in a kit, but this is by far the most handy. You can get some bolts and nuts undone that are pretty tight with these. You can also do them up pretty tight, but I never rely on the tightness of just solely this. I generally go around, example wheel nuts, I'll go around with a torque wrench and torque those up after I use these. So yeah, really good bit of kit. Big time saver, why I like it. Next, so some of you would most definitely recognise what this is. This is for a very specific, doing your wheel bearings, the wheel bearing nuts. There's two normally on the series Defenders. Later Defenders is one, but I don't have one here to show example, but there's the nut that holds the bearing in on a preload, and then you've got a washer, and then you've got another size nut that you do up to a torque spec, and then you curl the washer over. In the past, people use chisels, cold chisels on these nuts, and you can definitely see it on older series vehicles. They've just hammered them and cold chiseled them tight and loose, and that really just puts a lot of stress on the actual nut and can come loose and stretches it. And this again, like I just put a bit of Rio through here to tighten and loosen. I've seen people weld an actual socket onto here so they can get their tools onto there, their ratchets, and their anything from their socket sets, 1/2 inch. And then, yeah, just such a simple, cheap tool that saves time, and that's something you should have in your toolbox, especially if you're doing trips, you've done your wheel bearings or something, and or just replace them, I mean, and then you generally have to go over and check them again for slop or play, or if they're too tight. If you've done it too tight, you've got to loosen it off and play with it, because you can do that just by pulling the flange off and having a go at it. So yeah, really good bit of kit. And number 3 is one of these. So this is I call it a prop shaft tool, another specialty tool that you can buy not off the general shelf. You'd have to go to one of your parts dealer, Land Rover parts dealer. Again, we got 9/16 here to 1/2 inch, and coupled with this, really quick. The way you used to do it, 2 spanners on the prop shaft, trying to undo it 4 times whilst holding it up with your shoulder, and it just gets a bit tiresome. And again, a time saver. All you got to do, coupled with this, say, or even a ratchet, just a 9/16 spanner, and then on, off, same again, and torquing it up to what spec it needs to be. Really good. The reason why it's a specialty tool, because if you've used a normal socket, you can probably buy shallow sockets nowadays, but I just bought this because I saw it and I thought that's a really good time saver. Yeah, the reason is because if you use the normal socket, it's quite large, and then I'll see if I've got one here, just a normal socket. Not the same size, but you can see the difference. Quite big in terms of the depth and the length. You wouldn't be able to get this. You can, but it absolutely ruins the heads of the bolts on the prop shaft, and you got to do 4 of them. And there's been multiple times when I've come to a vehicle that I've recently bought and gone to take the prop shaft off, and I cannot get it undone because someone has gotten their half on one of these and then tried to undo it, and has just burred and turned the bolt. And generally after that, I would just not waste my time and angle grind the bolt off. So ever since buying one of these, new bolts, and I know they're going to undo, even if they've been seized up a bit, I can just put a bit of CRC on there. This will sit on there nice and snug, and spanner on opposing end, and it will undo. So again, another time saver. Really into saving time when working on the Land Rovers, because there'll be times when I'm sure you all know, you go to undo one bolt and that bolt snaps, that bolt won't undo, you can't get something onto it, and something that's meant to take an hour takes a day, and because you're running around trying to figure out how to get it undone, weld something onto so you can get it undone. And just things like these really save time, and the less time you spend doing these jobs, the better. you can take your time and do it properly and not rush when you're using tools that aren't made for the job. So really important, I think, to have the right tool for the right job. So if you've got any tools that you use in your toolbox that you think's really important that everyone else should know about, please share it, because it's always interesting to see what everyone else uses in their toolbox. Something that you might have in the car all the time, something that you've got in the workshop that you use all the time on your Land Rover, just something that helps make a process when working on your Land Rovers easier. So yeah, these are my top 3 that I've been using over the years, and I'm sure there's plenty more that I use around, and I'm sure Jeff's got quite a few that he likes to use in his workshop. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.